Have you ever been so angry that you started crying? Not sad crying, angry crying. The kind where you're in the middle of proving you're right, your argument is bulletproof, and then your body just betrays you. Your eyes start watering, your voice cracks, and suddenly the person you're arguing with thinks they've won. Not because they had better points, but because you look like you're falling apart. Meanwhile, you're not falling apart. You're furious. You've never been more furious. But now nobody's taking you seriously because apparently your tear ducts didn't get the memo that this was supposed to be your moment of strength. Maybe it happened when you were finally confronting a friend about something that's been bothering you. You rehearsed what you'd say, you knew you needed this conversation, but the moment you started explaining how their actions hurt you, the anger hit you all at once. You tried to get the words out, but your voice came out shaky and broken. Everything you wanted to say got stuck behind the tears. And the worst part? The other person probably didn't see someone standing up for themselves. They saw someone falling apart. Your own body just became evidence against you. So what's actually going on? Well, anger is exhausting for your body. When you get really angry, your body goes into high alert. Stress hormones flood your system. Your muscles are shallow. You're running at full speed internally. But here's the tricky part. That anger almost never shows up alone. Underneath it are all these other feelings you don't have time to deal with. Embarrassment, fear, feeling powerless. Your brain is trying to handle multiple emotional crises at once, and it's overwhelmed. When your system gets overloaded, something has to give. And what gives? Tears. Not because you're sad, but because your tear ducts are connected to the same parts of your brain that handle intense emotions. Think of it like a cup that's too full. The tears are just what spills over. Your body is saying, I can't hold all of this anymore. The problem is how other people see it. Throughout human history, tears have meant one thing: giving up. So when someone sees you crying during an argument, their brain doesn't think about all the complex stuff happening inside you. They just see crying and think weak. Your whole argument gets twisted. Suddenly, you're not someone with a fair point. You're overreacting. You're too sensitive. You're being dramatic. Everything you were trying to say just disappears, and all anyone remembers is that you cried. And you can feel it happening in real time. With every tear, you're losing ground. You know your point was valid, but now nobody's listening to your words anymore. They're just watching you cry. The harder you try to stop the tears, the more they come. It's like your own body is working against you. Then comes what happens after. Hours or days later, you're still thinking about it. Not about being right, just about the fact that you cried. That's what replays in your head. You start feeling embarrassed about your own body. For some people, this happens every time they get angry. It becomes automatic. Anger shows up, tears follow. Eventually, you might avoid confrontation because you know what's coming. You'd rather stay quiet than risk crying again. The people who upset you never hear about it, and you never get closure. You lose your ability to speak up. But here's something worth thinking about. Maybe those tears are actually telling the truth about anger. Most people think anger should be cold and controlled, like in the movies. But in real life, anger doesn't work that way. It exists because something hurt us first. Every time you feel genuinely angry, it's because something that mattered to you got damaged or attacked. So the tears aren't hiding the anger or messing it up. They're showing what's underneath it. They're revealing that you care enough to be genuinely hurt by what happened, that it cut deep enough to trigger your body's biggest alarm system. Society tells us that crying during anger is confusing or contradictory. But what if it's actually the most honest thing that could happen? You're not just angry, you're angry because you're hurting. The tears aren't a sign of weakness, they're proof that this actually mattered to you. But knowing all this doesn't make it easier, does it? You'll probably still cry during your next big argument. Your body will still do its own thing at the worst possible moment. And the person you're arguing with probably still won't understand that your tears are just anger coming out in a different form. The real question isn't whether you can stop yourself from crying when you're angry, it's whether you can keep standing up for yourself even when your body makes you look like you're giving up. Because the actual battle isn't just the argument happening out loud, it's the disconnect between what you're feeling inside and what your body decides to show on the outside. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is keep making your point even through the tears. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. We've got more videos coming about the psychology behind these moments we can't control. Thanks for watching.